Welcome, everybody. So glad you could join us for the Journey with the Angels tonight. So, if you want the recordings, you can access them at our YouTube channel specific for all of these angels, which is youtube.com/at, so the little at sign, the Angelic Encyclopedia. And also on the weekly email I send out to everyone, there is a link to that YouTube playlist as well. So if there's any favorites you liked, or this one tonight you just want to go back and listen to again and again, it will be there. So I wanted to make sure everybody knew that. And with that, go ahead, Greg. Let's get going.
Hey, everybody. So we're doing the angel Nangariel. And Nangariel is not one of the ones that you would think of. You know, a lot of the angels that we're doing here are not ones that you would think of. So, here it talks about, divine protection, restorer of balance, spiritual clarity, healer of the heart and mind, angel of transformation, communicator between divine realms and humanity. You know, when you go through and you start looking at some of these explanations, the explanations are a little bit different, but they sound similar. But it's like food. Like food is, something that we eat that has sustenance, but there's all different kinds and there's different ways and places, have different kinds of cuisine. And so just because we're talking about a particular angel like food, there's a lot of different flavors. There's a lot of different qualities. And, I didn't go too much deeper into some of the mystical physiology or just the physiology. I figured we'd do it in a way like we're doing now, where we do a little one-on-one and we take it something deeper. So let's talk about this idea. Like it talks about protection, restorative balance, communication between the divine realm and human. So when we let's set aside the angels for a minute and let's just look at our physiology, right? Let's just look at, some of the things that I've been talking about for a while, but let's still talk about it again. So, we always come back to this idea of the autonomic nervous system, which is divided into action and activity. And in that side, it's also tied to rest and repair, or excuse me, flight. And then we have the vagal tone component, which is tied to rest and repair, right? So we have action and we have rest. And the play between these two parts of your nervous system make up a lot of the qualities in your energy body. Really, you could say the energy is a manifestation of this play between these two sides of your nervous system. So when we break this down, on the very first level is we have the stress response, right? We have, things that stress us out, things that displace us a little bit. They're out of our routine. It might be something that's a little upsetting, whatever it is. There's a little bit of stress, and then your ability to rest and repair. Stress could even be like trying to meet a deadline or going for a long walk and going a little bit past your threshold or you're in the middle of a project and you're having to interact with other people. It's not always necessarily a bad thing. Part of how our body strengthens and continues is it handles different kinds of stresses. When they look at astronauts, when they go up into space, they don't have the stress of gravity and their body falls apart, right? So the stresses aren't always like something that's bad, like lifting weights, that's very stressful to your body, but you're building muscle, right? Studying for a test in school, very stressful, but it's making you smarter, right? Going on a first date with somebody, very stressful, but you know, you might end up, falling in love or, having, a good connection with somebody, right? So there's all these different things, right? So that is the first level of like stress and what you would just call vagal tone. Then from there, the longer that we're in a stress state and the longer that we're either in vagal tone or not in vagal tone, we start to produce emotion, right? So this starts to be about what you would call vagal reinforcement. When we're in a stress state long enough or intense enough, we start to then have emotion, like we're starting to go into fight flight. And then the body goes, well, if we're going to fight, you need to be angry. And if we're going to run, you need to be afraid. And if you need to sit still and not move because we don't want to get hurt, then you need to be overwhelmed. If you need to fit into this group, even though these people are being obnoxious, you need to feel incredibly abandoned so that you adjust yourself, right? So there starts to be all these things that are in um, are in play. So these get generated not because we're negative people or that we don't know how to regulate our emotions. It's none of that. It's our body generates it no matter what. Even the most holy person in the world has these same mechanisms, right? The difference being that when these things get generated, we have good enough vagal tone that we process those emotions and they get converted into higher emotion or higher thought. But when we're in like a stress state, they don't transmute. They end up just getting bigger, getting worse, and getting more agitated and kind of perpetuating themselves, and they start to accumulate, and we become more hyper reactive and more hyper vigilant, and we get stuck in these loops, right? So when this goes on for long enough, this starts to impact what you would call your vital centers, right? Your vital centers. And your vital centers has more to do with like how your body, not your mind, how your body perceives the events and your surroundings, right? So if we've been in a stress state for long enough, your body goes, hey, this isn't safe. Hey, this is traumatizing. Hey, this is unstable. Like this feels chaotic. Hey, this is painful. Don't get hurt, right? And so when it comes to the state of the body, it's a harder area to address because it really has to do with how long, how repetitive, and how intense our experiences have been in the past. It's not about the story. It's not about like, well, they said this and they said that, and then I went down there and then this happened. It's none of that. It's basically that hurt, that didn't hurt. That felt good, that didn't feel good. That was unstable, this is stable. That made me feel like afraid, or that was traumatizing and this was soothing. It's really just very base root kind of feelings that then kind of condition the body to go, okay, I feel safe, or you know what, I don't feel safe. I feel traumatized. I feel chaotic. And then wherever we go, whatever we do, we're looking through that lens, right? What all those different experiences do to us, to the body, not to the emotions, not to the mind, but to the body, is then it goes, this is the lens, right? So if I'm feeling traumatized, if I'm feeling like that though my experiences have been traumatic, so then I have my traumatic lens, and then wherever I go, I see through the traumatic lens, right? I see everything through that trauma shade of green on that piece of glass in front of me, right? So this again goes back to a thing that I talk about sometimes that, if you think about, metaphorically that you have this big piece of glass in front of you and it's how you see the world. And every experience, however good, bad, and different, keeps changing that piece of glass, darker shade of green. It keeps putting green on this glass. Hey, I graduated from school, green. Hey, I got into a car accident, green. Hey, I had a weird thing with a friend, green. I don't get along with my family, green. I get along really well with my family, green. Like there's just all these imprints on this glass. And so over a period of time, the glass keeps getting darker and darker. And then somebody holds up a red ball in front of you and goes, "What is this?" And you look at it in front of you and you go, "It's a ball," which is accurate, right? And then they go, "But what color is it?" And as you look through all that green on the glass and you look at the red ball, it looks brown or black. So you're seeing what's in front of you partially accurate. You're seeing that it's a ball, but their interpretation of like the color is off because of your past experiences. This would be the lens of the body, right? So if we've had good experiences and a little bit of bad, that still can change the lens of the body. And if we've had a bunch of bad experiences, again, that impacts the lens of the body. So when we are talking about protection and clarity and restore of balance, one of the beautiful things about the angel Nangariel is that it doesn't really impact the stress and the vagal tone, and it doesn't really impact the emotions like the emotions being generated like the anger and the fear. What it does is those emotions impact the body and then produce the green on the lens, right? So the angel Nangariel actually helps to take some of that green off the lens. It helps to shift how we see the world, right? So this is the clarity. This is the protection. This is the restorer of balance, right? You're shifting your vital centers. You're shifting the lens within the body. And this is actually also tied to the enteric nerves, which are the nerves in your gut that work independently of your brain. They chat sometimes with your brain, but if you disconnect like the nerves in your arm won't work because it's not communicating with the brain anymore. But if you sever the connection between the enteric nerves and your brain, the enteric nerves keep going, right? It's the only part of the nervous system that does this. And it's a very primal, survival driven part of your nervous system that's in your gut, right? So it's also tied to the state of your body. So when we talk about like happiness and when we talk about well being, it's not just that, oh, we don't want to be stressed or, oh, I want to get rid of these negative emotions and I want to be like happy or experience joy. It's that we want to shift the state of the body, meaning also the lens of the body, so that we're in that state of happiness. We're in that state of joy. We're in that state where we can experience goodness rather than always seeing through the lens of trauma or fear or whatever it might be. So the angel Nangariel, you could say, specializes in this, right? So the very first thing we're going to do is we're going to close our eyes and just check in with how you feel, your body, your emotions, your thoughts. So at first, let's just say the name. You're not even going to focus on anything. Let's just say the name. So you can just hear my voice, or if you want, silently in your mind, you can repeat the name with me. And again, it's non gar I L. Non gar I L. Okay, you're just being still. Non gar I L. Non gar I L. Non gar I L. Now, normally we'd put our awareness on the brain, but here you're going to put your awareness on the back solar plexus, that mid back area. Keep your awareness on the back solar plexus. Non gar I L. Your awareness is still on that back solar plexus. Non gar I L. Just let go. Let's pull out the oil. How does that feel for you? So you're inhaling and your awareness is on the back solar plexus. Your awareness is on the back solar plexus. You're doing nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then pause and be still. Again, begin inhaling. Your awareness is on your back solar plexus. And then pause and be still. Pause and be still. Now, this helps, like when we do this on the back solar plexus, you're beginning to shift those enteric nerves, those nerves in your gut, or what you would call the second brain. It's really more impactful from the backside than from the front side. Now, we also want to hit the vital centers. And so we're going to do a little pattern. So you're going to inhale the oil. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the soles of your feet. Move your awareness to the sex chakra, where the sex organs are. This is also tied to instinctive responses. Your awareness is on the sex chakra. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on the front heart, the center of your chest. Your awareness is on your throat, your front throat. And then your crown. Your awareness is on your crown. And then pause and be still. Just being still. You're letting everything go. As you're being still, just hear my words and let go. No, go, I, no, go, I, Inhale the oil on your back solar plexus. And then just pause and let go. Just pause and let it all. Begin inhaling again. Your awareness is on your back solar plexus. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You're inhaling, your awareness is on the back solar plexus. And then just pause and be still. You're just pausing and being still. Again, your awareness is on the soles of your feet. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths with your awareness on the soles of your feet. Your sex chakra, where your sex organs are, you're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Your awareness is on your heart, your front heart. Your throat, your awareness is on your throat. and then the top of your head. And then just pause and let go. Notice how you feel, your body, your emotions, your thoughts. How did that made you? Yeah, yeah. I mean, the thing that I do for myself is like it doesn't get a whole lot more involved. I just do a lot of repetition of this where I go back solar plexus, back solar plexus, back solar plexus, back solar plexus, and then I do the feet, sex, heart, throat, crown. And so yeah. Let's go ahead and do shares and questions and then we'll do a little bit more, but let's just see how you're doing and how we're processing. So go ahead and fire away.
Yeah, go ahead, Barbara.
Hey,
Hey there, that was really nice. And I'm curious, I don't recall doing that pattern up the front before.
yeah, most times we go up the back.
Yeah, so what's the difference with going up the front?
The front hits the vital centers a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. The going up the back has a little bit more. moving the energy from the heart to the crown. You're kind
Hmm.
of transmuting, cleaning up the body a little bit, but it's more about the connection between the heart and the crown. Where
Hmm.
this is more about just those vital centers. It's even though we don't touch the solar plexus with that, it's very solar plexus. It's very regulating to the solar plexus. And the other thing that it helps to regulate is like the diaphragm. Because the diaphragm isn't just for our breathing, but a lot of our, like how we talk about the state of the body. Like if we're in this really dysregulated state, or we're in a agitated state where we're kind of traumatized no matter where we go, or we're afraid, you can always see it in the diaphragm. That's diaphragm and the jaws, are two big places where you would do it. And so when you unwind the back solar plexus, a lot of times I'll notice that the jaws will start to relax a bit. And sometimes when I do like the energy version of this, I'll like kind of sweep the diaphragm and clean the back solar plexus. And I go between the jaws and the back solar plexus, jaws and back solar plexus. We're going to explore that with the oils, like after we talk for a bit. But, I wanted you guys to have the, kind of the root experience here before we start doing some experiments.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And now you have me aware that my jaw feels pretty relaxed. And
Yeah.
I only
Yeah,
notice
it
when
kind of
it's
sneaks
tense.
up
I
on
don't
you.
notice when it's
Yeah,
relaxed.
right. Exactly. Kind of sneaks up on you. Like,
Thank you.
I haven't thought about my jaw for the last 3 hours, or, whatever it's been.
And go ahead, Teresa.
Hey,
It was fabulous. Thank you.
it's very nice, huh? It's very soothing.
Yeah, I had what do I say? Was trying to expel something beforehand, and as soon as we like through the day, I did another meditation, and
Hmm.
it felt like it got stuck. And as soon as we were doing the back solar plexus, it was just oh, I'm like, thank God.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
It was really nice. And I'm curious, what is in this oil?
Let's look it up and see.
It smells very yummy.
Oh, yeah. It's yummy. Siberian fir premium, Himalayan cedar, black pine, and galbanum.
Mm. It
Yeah.
was that was the Siberian fir that I was
Yeah.
smelling. Gosh, lovely, lovely, lovely.
Well, you could say Siberian fir and like Himalayan cedar and Taiwanese cedar, they're really good friends. They're like all the same places. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you for that.
Yeah.
It felt really soothing. And I was like, oh, is this the angel? But I think it is the angel, but with that pattern.
Yeah. The
Like,
pattern is, in the very, very early days, I did the pattern even without the angel or the oils. I would just sit and do like meditation or contemplation and then do the pattern. And then, over the years, I start burning incense and doing it. And then, you know, I think next came the invoking the angel. And uh, then when starting to do the oils and patterns around areas of the body, I went to a whole another level. Yeah. Yeah. So we did just the back solar plexus, which feels good, but there is this thing about going back and forth between the back solar plexus and the jaws. And as weird as it sounds, sometimes also the back of the shoulder blades. So we're going to do a little experiment and let's just see how you feel. The reason the shoulder blades is, we hold a lot of tension in our shoulders and our arms. Um, but when we start to shift out of these deeper states of the body where there's trauma or stress or fear, um, part of the activation of the heart for that sense of well-being or healing or, you know, whatever we're trying to cultivate, um, sometimes it's held back by the connective tissue or the muscle in the area. And one of the areas that will hold back the activation of the heart is the shoulder blades themselves, the muscles on the shoulder blades. And so if you kind of go through and clean them up, it allows for the heart energetically to expand. When there's a lot of tension there, it's almost like it's in a cage, like the heart's trying to expand, but there's this cage around it, and it's like it hits the walls and won't get any bigger. So we're going to explore this a little bit and see how you feel. So again, let's start with the back solar plexus. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You're still on your back solar plexus. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then pause and be still. And you're noticing how you feel. Let's put our awareness on the jaws where they hinge in front of the ear. Your awareness is on the jaws. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Now, do the sides of your head. The sides of your head will still impact the jaws. So your awareness is on the sides of your head. Okay. And then just be still for a moment. Notice how you feel. Is that okay? Okay, so we did back solar, we did jaws, sides of the head, right? And we're going to cycle through it again, but before we do, let's just explore, right? We're just going to explore. So you're going to put your awareness on your shoulder blades, like the muscles of your shoulder blades. You just put your awareness on the shoulder blades, it'll do it, right? So your awareness is on your shoulder blades. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then pause. And be still. And up. Yeah, very soothing. Yeah. Mhm. So before we go and we do a little bit more, again, I know we just talked a few minutes ago, but we just did a little experiment. So if you want to ask questions or shares, you can. We're going to do a little bit more, but shares or questions.
Someone said, where has this practice been all these years?
I know, huh?
Yeah, this whole practice, everything tonight just feels perfect but it's like, yeah, the pattern, but again, it keeps going like the angel and the pattern.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Just feels so soothed.
Hmm. Yeah. I think I have like a big bottle of the Nangariel.
Yeah, I think someone was saying it was actually in one of the kits we had in one of
Yeah,
classes.
it was in a kit. Yeah, see, I have like a big bottle of it. Yeah, it was in a kit that it seemed appropriate. I don't know that we went too into it, but we did use the angel a little bit. But um, yeah, each one of the angels, you could say they're like they're energy with consciousness, but they're like a different aspect of what it feels like to be enlightened or awakened or aware of the soul or aware of divinity, and so they each have their quality or their personality. And so this one's very, very soothing. Because it's soothing the body. Even how it heals the heart and the mind is it does it by soothing the body. Because if the body's agitated, like if you're walking around in the trauma lens, you see everything through trauma, how is that not going to impact your emotions and not impact your way of thinking? You're going to think that way no matter what. And so, like, you're literally like stepping into another room in the house so that you're not just try to meditate in your office. It's not going to happen. You go to your meditation place because it's easier to think differently there. But if we're always stuck in the office, um, how do you not uh, be consumed by office work?
Mm.
I had these clients one time, they kept coming for healing and they would go, I'm fine for most of the day, but then when I lay down, I become really, really super anxious. And, I would do healing on them and they'd go, I feel better. But boy, when I go to bed, I feel anxious. And this kept happening and kept happening. And then they started saying, when we travel and we sleep in another bed, we don't feel anxious. And I was like, that's kind of interesting, you know? didn't really think about it. And I don't know, somehow we got on, I started asking him questions about, like, tell me how the bedroom's laid out, and, how long have you had the bed? And, maybe it's just, I cleaned the bed. Nothing was really working. And then somehow it came out that they stored all their paperwork from the IRS under their bed. And when they told me that, I was like, yeah, probably take that out and stick it out in the garage and let's see what happens. Went away. Right? Wasn't that they were sitting and grinding on it, but the energy of those papers and the stress that is associated with it, they were having a little bit of difficulty with IRS. Nothing crazy, but a little bit. But like all that paper was there, and it would stir this response in the body, even though emotionally, mentally, they're not even aware of it. And so, the energy of the papers got moved, and all of a sudden, their emotions and mind became much calmer. And so, again, that falls under the state of the body. The body is responding to the energy of those papers, even though the emotions and the mind had no idea. Yes, they knew they were down there, but they're not like, ooh, those papers are under there. It makes me not going to sleep very well. Going to think about those things under the bed. It was just a good place to store things. So anyway, any more questions or shares?
Not yet for that process.
Okay, so we're going to tie it all together.
Okay.
And we might explore a little more. Let's see how this goes. Okay, so you have the blend. You're using the angel Nangariel. Your awareness is on the back solar plexus. Good. You're on the back solar plexus. Just pause and let go. And as you're just sitting there being still, I'm going to say the name a few times. Keep the bottle of oil in your hand. No, go, I, L. No, gar, I, L. Nangariel. Nangariel. Inhale with your awareness on your back solar plexus. Now move your awareness up to your jaws, where they hinge in front of the ears. Now do the sides of your head, the sides of your head. Then move your awareness to the shoulder blades. Your awareness is on the shoulder blades. You're still on the shoulder blades. You're taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. And then you're pausing and being still. Okay, begin inhaling. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. Your awareness is on the sex chakra. God, it's a delicious blend, doesn't it? Brent Hart. Go for it. To your feet. Your awareness is on your front heart. Hmm. Your throat. Your awareness is on your throat. That's what I'm talking about, right? And then the crown. Your awareness is on the crown. And then just pause and be still. Yeah. And like this is soothing, but you can kind of tell there's different kinds of relaxation and there's different kinds of soothing and feeling peaceful. And this one, I would say, is very healing to the body. When we have like chronic health issues, disease, any sort of chronic like situation, like trauma or traumatic fear, situation scenarios or patterns that run through our lives, you could always go back to the vital centers. As much as you try to increase and improve vagal tone and diminish the emotion, it's the the vital centers in that brain in your gut, you know. And so what you're doing is you're also shifting the reactions your body has to all the external stimuli. It's not just like, oh, I'm taking stress down a notch. It's like you're changing the nature of what stresses you out or stress itself. If you do this enough, you'll start seeing these different scenarios like through different eyes. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You're giving me the yawns. Like usually that doesn't happen, but like, ugh.
Usually I yawn enough for the two of us.
I know. And then your awareness is on the sex chakra. Your front heart. Your awareness is on your front heart. Your throat. Your awareness is on your throat. And then the top of your head, the crown. And just pause and be still. Your awareness is on your back solar plexus. Nice, long, slow, deep breaths. As you're inhaling, I'm going to say the name. Nangariel. 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 Move your awareness to the jaws. Your awareness is on the jaws. Nangariel. Nangariel. to the sides of your head. Sides of your head. Your awareness is on the sides of your head. And then your shoulder blades. Your awareness is on your shoulder blades. You're on the shoulder blades. You're doing nice, long, slow, deep breaths. You're just letting go of everything, just letting go. You're just being still. Just being still. Hey, one more time. Your awareness is on the soles of your feet. Mhm. But does it make you feel better? You feel like way better. Mm. Your awareness is on the sex chakra. Your awareness is on your heart, the center of your chest. Your awareness is on your throat. And the crown. Your awareness is on the crown. Awareness is on the crown. Just be still. The way that I like to describe this, we're talking about the state of the body. It's like how you feel in your bones. Like, if you feel good here, you feel good to your bones. If you feel crappy here, you feel crappy to your bones. You know what I mean? It's like it's this deep feeling that is not about the surroundings or the reaction. It is something that has been generated over a period of time. And regardless of how we change our environment, it's just there. If you think about those times where you're like, no matter what's going on, I always feel like the other shoe's going to drop. I can't put my guard down. Something bad's going to happen. Can't explain it. It's the state of the body. It's not a situation. It's not a reaction. It's not emotions. It's the state of the body. And so, anyway, I could go on and on about it, but I think you guys get it. If not, you feel it to your bones. Don't you? Like you kind of feel it to your bones. It's deep. Yeah. So if you have a few minutes, or we have a few minutes, I should say, if you have a share or a question, you can unmute or type in.
Someone shared. I don't really have another layer to take off.
No, you are so right there. Yeah.
It was kind of incredible because, I really enjoyed the process this whole time. And then about an hour 35, whatever into it, and we did this last round, and I just couldn't stop yawning.
Mm.
And then there were those yawns that you're like, it wants to come. Like it was just something was really, really unwinding.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think he made it so you guys can unmute yourself though. Let me just double check. Sorry, I'm a little spacey. Yeah.
Everybody could just be feeling chill too.
It can be.
Yeah. Well, so next week is Nathaniel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so next week's Nathaniel, the bringer of gifts. So we'll be exploring that whole idea of the bringer of gifts and what that means. And um, so we're going to go to the Tuesday night prayer petition blessing, and I think a lot of you have heard that Reverend Anthony passed away last week. And we did something on the Sunday service, and we are going to do something again as we bless the prayer petitions tonight. We're just going to include him in that process. So, yeah, I didn't really get to say very much on the Sunday service. I was pretty choked up. But yeah, we'll go through and we'll do blessing again. And we'll go from there. So
We posted the link there
Yeah.
for to bless the Star Healing and Prayer petitions, so you can just click that link and join us. And sorry, I forgot to stop recording.